Hello, my name is Aloysius Kabunga and I'm the manager of spiritual care, St. Peter's Health Partners. I would like to wish all our colleagues a spirit-filled Juneteenth. Chaplain Byron Williams will be educating us about Juneteenth, and Jay McFrazier will briefly tell us the meaning of Juneteenth for him.
My name is Byron Williams. I'm an acute care chaplain here at St. Peter's Hospital in Albany. I'm here to share a few moments of highlights about the celebration we call Juneteenth. How interesting it is that we begin these moments about slavery together, hearing the accent of an authentic African voice, my manager. Reflect on that for a moment. And as you think about it, let that accent echo back to August 1619, when the first 20 to 30 enslaved Africans landed at Point Comfort, which today is Fort Monroe in Hampton, Virginia, aboard the English privateer ship named the White Lion. Then let that accented voice you heard echo back. And then from 1619, let it go forward to 1863. 244 years later, that is where we begin the history of what we call Juneteenth. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed January 1st, 1863. The proclamation declared that the slaves who were a part of the non-union states were to be freed. Paradoxically, it was 2.5 years later, on June 19th, that federal troops under the leadership of Major General Gordon Granger arrived on Galveston Island and made an announcement at Ashton Villa on Broadway, the main street of Galveston, that the slaves were to be unequivocally set free. This marked Juneteenth, short for June 19th. It marked itself as a day of celebration for African Americans in all the South. In 1865, a celebration was actually held in Galveston, but most slave owners in Texas refused to comply. Unfortunately, it was approximately a century and a half later that the rest of the nation complied. It was in 1980, in my home state of Texas, the first state to make Juneteenth a state holiday. I became a pastor on Galveston Island in April of 1980, and so I was privileged to be present to witness and share firsthand in the initial celebration of Juneteenth, held at the same place it began, Ashton Villa on Broadway on Galveston Island. As a group of American Negroes who were the children and the grandchildren of slaves, we had no idea that as we stood at that villa, celebrating history for our ancestors' sake, that we were making history ourselves. Today, I'm proud to have been one in that number. With the signature of our current president, Joe Biden, Juneteenth is the first holiday to be approved since Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which was established in 1983. Both emancipation and affirmation have been 150-year processes for African Americans. And these processes yet continue to this day because, contrary to popular opinion, freedom does not come in a momentary vacuum of time. Freedom is a process, an ongoing, never-ending process. As a country that prides herself in being the land of the free and the home of the brave, we should continually strive to bring unabridged emancipation to African Americans and to all the sweltering masses of those who have been classified as minorities in this country, and for that matter, even across the world. For as Martin Luther King Jr. said, no one is free until everyone is free. So I invite you to join us as African Americans, Americans of African descent, in recognizing Juneteenth, not just for African Americans, but for the whole of humanity, whose sweltering masses of minorities everywhere on our globe are yet yearning to be free.
What Juneteenth means to me? Well, that's complicated. You see, the idea of America has oftentimes been greater than the reality of America. And it oftentimes takes a tragedy to truly bring us together. All the while, Black people in America have endured segregation, Jim Crow laws, civil rights violations, and implicit biases simply because of the color of our skin, not on the content of our character. Juneteenth is both a celebration of freedom and a reminder that we all have an obligation to uphold the true meaning of America. Howard Schultz said, "The future of America is not an entitlement. We have been given a treasure chest of gifts and opportunities, but some people are being left behind, and success is not sustainable unless it is shared." The last stanza of Maya Angelou's "And Still I Rise." Into a daybreak that wondrously clear I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.